want to see this track.
Chummies like back here, but my butt's there.
You guys totally should meet each other.
Everything else is really good.
Hey, you should get land here. It'd be interesting. Get land and have like an actual.
I'm supposed to, I guess. But I'm totally unprepared. And
going to the yard.
I have nothing.
There was actually some Buddha meditation
so
stuff
I was thinking it'd be more of just like a hangout
regularly.
And chat
I still do
type
it. I still
thing.
get emails
But
from
unless,
them all the
do you have something you want to do?
Yeah.
Hold up.
Okay, then yes, it will be a casual.
Oh, I'm just seeing like some floating orbs. I'm not sure I'm seeing everyone's avatar.
I really should go to one in person. You know, I live in a pretty good sized metro area, but I've never been to one.
I've
yeah.
volunteered twice for 2 weeks. had a temple before, just doing babysitting at 4 hours a day, and all you can eat best, all you can eat the best vegetarian Indian food ever, and then they have their own homegrown gardens and everything.
That's the place. That's my favorite restaurant where I live. It's just what you described.
That's the way to go.
Exactly
Oh,
like
it's
that. It's an Hare
perfect.
Krishna temple. Same. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
It's
yeah,
excellent.
if you
Hey,
ever come to
Madman.
Utah, you
Madman, what
gotta go
happened to your
Spanish
hair?
Fork, because that's where the temple's located. And it's actually a really
Oh,
amazing place. They have
When-
like how many acres
Can
of land
I
they
can I
have, but they have
enable
over
like
30
name
llamas,
tags
they
above
have
people's
parrots,
heads?
they have
Possible?
That's so
peacocks.
cool.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
send you a
cute,
script to
and
run.
that's
You're
another
gonna
thing
love
like about
this.
the religion compared to where
Okay,
Mormons,
but don't talk about the
Christianity,
script.
Catholics,
I'm just
none
going
of
to
those
share it
people
with you.
have
Okay.
a temple, not only a temple,
Oh, great.
really unique and cool looking, but also all you can eat
Um,
buffet,
Is it
free
Marky's
food,
name?
also
That's on the marketplace.
and
Secret.
also all the
Okay.
animals and stuff you never see any other religion.
We
Let's
should have like
see.
limited edition scripts
Yeah,
on the
just
marketplace.
Unless it's like ancient religion.
Yes. Okay.
I heard things about. I heard things
Exactly
about
where.
Jesus.
It's funny, I'm
I heard
sitting in the
things
same
about
room as
Jesus
I
was
told her
actually basically
right
Krishna,
now.
like in the beginning.
They all
Hey,
have real similar
MacLeod,
ties
are you
together,
here?
but, you know, they've also
Yeah.
been kind of all
I am here.
manipulated over
What?
time.
Let's-
you know,
let's
over
go on
time.
over
He's in
here.
the
Marco.
Is it the hero's
Polo.
journey?
Oh, it looks like
That's
someone
one
wants
I've heard of.
avatar shaders.
Yeah.
I
Is this
thought
Mila?
I figured I was thinking very.
It's
very
MacLeod.
naturally,
Hey.
we are all gods.
Meow. Meow.
Yeah,
Meow.
that too.
Meow.
I think
Meow.
everything is part of
Meow.
it.
And
Hey,
when
guys.
when you really
How's it
think
going?
about it too,
Good. Welcome to
psychology
our
and
Monday Maker
leadership is
meetup.
actually our government
I am
system. It's
Caitlin.
so powerful now.
I am an
Yeah,
evangelist
definitely
at High
so.
Fidelity.
Yeah, that's why I don't
I actually am totally unprepared today and have
they're all
nothing, like
controlled.
absolutely nothing for you. I've completely failed all of you.
But,
So I figured what we could do is just kind of freeform and hang out and talk and Q&A and stuff. But fortunately, MacLeod here, who is MacLeod? I guess you're an operations engineer, right?
I'm a VR content developer now.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever you are, MacLeod
Whatever, I'm
is
still trying to figure out what I am.
MacLeod is awesome and bright and incredible and has some questions, I think, and some other stuff he'd like to
do.
talk about. MacLeod, why don't you come up here and save my sorry ass?
Cool. I
from-
will. Do you mind if I get in HMD real quick? Hold on.
No, please do. Before we start, do we have any new users here who'd like to introduce themselves?
Can you touch anything?
Oh, architect. Oh, yes, architect. Architect, you want to come up and introduce yourself to the group?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Cool.
Here,
Well, maybe we should wait till MacLeod's done, actually. I'm not sure if
Maybe.
we have time. Let's see how long it takes him to get into
Feel like
his
you're
HQ.
real. And
Bravo!
did you feel so real being there?
Okay.
Yeah, it did it.
Don't
I'm
get
like
me started on
hyperactive
this
here.
sense-
So I just got back home late last night. I've been on a 22-day round the world tour of various high fidelity influencer places.
About to say, what kind of room are you putting your HMD on? The only time I see someone AFK moving around is like,
I like
hold on, I
Caitlin's
got my
trees.
headset on. It's over
Yeah.
here now.
Well, okay. Like,
Halfway across the building.
am I standing up right now? Because I'm sitting down.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
standing up.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Good.
Welcome, MacLeod.
Yeah. Hey.
Amazing and awesome.
Should I talk a little bit, or did you want to talk to Agent a little more about like what he does?
Why don't you just dig right in and then we'll just let it go from there.
I
It'll
will.
just kind of slowly deflate, but you'll be that initial inflation that will just pump us up.
Cool. Cool. So I think I saw a lot of you at the Lotus. Who's at the Lotus?
Me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Me.
All right. What'd you guys think?
There we go.
It was a good time, right?
Amazing!
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Super cool.
And,
HRs are
Good
the
party.
last one far
Mhm.
more stable.
I think it's, you know, we can't hit it out the ballpark on every single aspect, you know, every time, but if we keep on making improvements, that's something what we're looking for, and making sure we have a better experience. And I think we're focused on our experiences like more and more, especially that's why the group that I'm in was specifically created. And that's one of the things during these Monday Makers that we want to make sure that we're giving you guys everything that we can give for these, because you guys are so important to us. So the question is, what kind of stuff do you want to see during these Monday Makers? You know, this is kind of a fact-finding mission for me. So if anybody has any thoughts or opinions immediately, Chaos.
Like this came up as a thought in the
Mhm.
forums. Once we have that many users in, because as it works perfect. It's like an announced worldwide New Year's Eve's kind of a party. But you should keep people entertained after the main event. It's like New Year's Eve, where you have like the big countdown and everything goes crazy, and then give the users something to do, like a party, a dance contest, something to explore, which will like keep them concurrent.
Well,
No, I didn't really want to get too much into the load test, but if if you guys want to talk a little bit about the load test, I'm definitely interested to hear some of those. Did anybody go to the Halloween domains afterwards? Let me ask you that, like kind of piggybacking off of what you're talking about.
I went the days before.
I've been there before.
Yeah. But nobody went like directly after the load test.
Nope.
Right?
I mean,
okay.
Not directly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Make more stuff like that.
Sorry, who's it?
But they're amazing. They're cool.
Gotcha.
Stuff and zombie stuff. That was really,
Okay, I'll be right back up there.
Oh man.
So changing the topic back to kind of these Monday makers, Caitlin, like you've been doing so many of these. What do you feel like the general gist has been for these Monday events? Like, what would you, from your experience, what would you like to see more?
That's a great question. Well, I've been out for the last 3 weeks, so it's. But generally, we'll touch on things and try to take questions from content creators. We've demonstrated things when there's new features to talk about. Walked through those. Do you guys have ideas? Is the Experiences team interested in participating more in the Monday Maker meetups?
Yeah, no, we definitely want to be able to contribute more because, part of our group is to create a lot of these examples and really push the system, but it's also to do that for all other creators as well, to, find out, like, what are the tools that can all make us build better in hi-fi together, or, make more interesting things. And these Monday meetings are, a great source of that for sure. As far as what people are interested in doing during, this time, is there anything that you feel like hasn't been, addressed during these Monday Maker meetings?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, High Fidelity has a lot of moving parts.
No, that's what. That's I'm definitely asking audience. Like this is total fact finding for me right now. So I've got somebody taking notes right now. So Robin, she's helping out. Thank you so much, Robin. Chaos.
Let me give like a big congratulations how they worked up to now, and I hope like keep them like that, Caitlin, and also like the other community members like Flame, Manisal, Piper have so much shared input and feedback and can like react. That's what I love about them, that any new feature can be addressed and we get like a crash course on how to do it or how to do a workaround. So I really, that's worth half a university study. Please keep them up like that. Exactly like that.
How many people here are developers, by the way? Is everybody here pretty much a developer, or jump up if you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Kind of getting like a little jump up or hand raise.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, what's a developer?
Okay.
I make
who
nice
writes
stuff.
scripts? Let me ask you that. Who writes scripts that are used in High Fidelity?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is more on the graphic side?
Graphic design.
Okay, so it's a bit of a split, right? Half and half. Has this kind of been is this a normal thing that it's about half and half for these meetings?
I think the number of scripters has slightly increased, actually.
That's good. So yeah, is there any suggestions of things that you'd like to learn more about or have classes on how to do?
Yes, I have some feedback.
Okay.
On that. And I think when I started coming over a year ago, there was a little bit more structure. There was here's a subject for the day.
Mm-hmm.
We explained it, had either slides or video or something, talked about it and then kind of brainstormed about it. I really appreciated that, and I definitely agree with Chaos how everybody kind of throws their perspective in and their experience. And I really like that. I just would like a little more cohesion, and I personally would link it as you guys are fleshing the docs back out.
Mm-hmm.
Anything new that's added to the documentation, that would be a great subject for like that Monday's meeting. Something that has like there's just so much that's out of sync there. I think it would be great to say, hey, we've got XYZ portion updated. Let's talk about that this week.
That's a good idea.
That's what I would like to see.
I do have a small question that came off of that. Is you mentioned the docs, right? This is such a large system. We're definitely working more and more trying to get our documentation team together. But I actually am curious, who here has ever contributed to the documentation? We got one.
Files were sitting on my drive, but I was always afraid to do the uploading.
You're afraid to do the uploading.
It seems like there's more feedback in like the forums, Discord, those kind of forums than there is in the documentation. It didn't.
Yeah.
It just seems like that's a hard thing to.
Part of it is because getting things. I'll be bluntly honest, and I'm. Ooh, okay, that was funky. I'm take what I say with a grain of salt, but when I tried to get even a basic change implemented, in which I noticed that there was documentation missing for the ray pick, which to translate is basically when you use your laser, how does it know that the laser is hitting a surface? That's ray picking in a nutshell.
Oh, there is stuff.
The issue was there was no explanation for it. Well, it took me, I think the PR lasted 3 months, and it took so long to get implemented, I actually had to crash course myself on how to fix conflicts.
Good thing to know, by the way. But
and after that, I said, I'm never doing that again, because it was something that was so simple. Because versus when I do PRs for, updating, compiling for Linux, updating the CMake stuff so that, building interface servers is a lot more is a lot easier, maybe because there's a missing step, and if we do this, we can speed it up a little bit. Those days, I can get those popped in and out, approved, fully tested, me fixing grammar errors and then fixing my own grammar errors because I'm a genius. Those I can get done very easily, and they'll be approved or reviewed just in a few days, and that's awesome. But when I started doing the doc stuff as just a trial run,
No, I definitely understand, and we're gonna need your help. We're definitely doing as much as we can on our side for sure, but so many of you are using this every day, and if there's something that we could do to help make you guys feel more comfortable being empowered to contribute to our documentation, I would love to be able to figure out, what are kind of the things that are holding back, whether it's the amount of time it takes to get a PR in, and I think some of those issues, those are definitely being actively worked on. I feel like if that is something that happened today, you won't get that kind of response that has happened in the past on that specific item. Now, whether it's this is too complicated to be able to be a user in editing our actual documentation, that's definitely something we're interested in knowing. But I think that's a great way for us to keep on getting it more and more robust, because look around, there's so many moving parts to all of this. And I know there's things we're missing as we're trying to build this all out together. So, and the more that we can work together on that, I would love to be able to see if that's something we can do. And these meetings are great for that. Great to know, hey, there's not this part in the documentation, and maybe that might be something that we've been trying to get more jobs out for HFC. Hey, that's I would do documentation for HFC at least now. But let's talk about a couple more things related to these Monday meetings. Who's next?
Yeah, one of the things right over here.
Yeah.
So one of the things I did realize, and it can be partially this, but it also needs to be fixed in hi-fi in general, is Avatar creation seems to be abysmal. I mean, like, there's only 5 or 6 people that can do it right, like right out of the back, and it's pretty bad. Like, I saw somebody struggle for like 2 days straight trying to get their stuff in.
Are you an Avatar creator?
Well, I mean, I am going to create an avatar. I probably won't do anything to sell anything, but I'm just saying that in general, that like from what I noticed during the competition, everybody was trying to get their stuff ready for avatar stuff.
But that is something you're personally very interested in, right?
Yeah.
Is there? Can I get a show of hands or jumps? Who else would be interested in the avatar creation process?
More 3D would actually like start doing stuff.
Okay, that's really good to know. Who are some of the more experienced avatar makers? Like you said, there's only a handful of people. I guess Chris, you're who said that? The robot?
Cash Money.
I should have did like the name tags, but
well, I'm actually wearing an avatar I did myself.
Yeah.
But
do you feel like the process you went from beginning to end? Do you think that was complicated?
Oh, it's extremely complicated. Like, even though, like, I mean, I didn't even bring this in. The process of doing it is, it's a very awkward process, and then like even the experts seem to have issues.
Gotcha. Okay, avatar creation. Okay, so that sounds like it's a big thing. Go ahead, Chaos. Or are we just agreeing?
To do with avatar creation, also like maybe we could have like also a voting pool on special topics. So I'd be interested in blend shapes. They're still a total mystery to me.
Okay.
And I have to add something. I've been asked like about like a documentation on the flow script, because it's like encouraged to put like nice flowy stuff on. Oh, sorry, I don't have my hair on. So
I get you though.
Imagine me having it on.
I imagine there's crazy hair flowing everywhere.
I mean,
so there is no cool flow hair documentation online now, which I could link to. I had to like pull up all PDF files.
It's documentation with this stuff. I mean, if I were a new person that had never created an avatar before, and I had to go from the information that's in the docs and search through the forums and search, I mean, it's super disconnected. There's information that's no longer relevant. There's missing images that says, look at this image, from Blender and Maya. The images aren't there. The links are broke. I mean, there's so much, especially about the avatar part of it.
This is
completely,
why we need Discord.
It's just terrible.
Discord is your friend.
They
You can find it if you search.
Discord is
along
one
there.
of the 20 channels I have
How many
to
people are
search
in
when
it, though?
trying to find information.
A few hundred. There's a
Sorry,
couple people.
if you
like,
get a bit of a
I had
now.
experienced avatar creators from other platforms coming through here, and they're practically pulling their hair out with how stressful this can be.
Well, can we actually break this specific thing down a little bit further? Can you guys list some of the specific things that are avatar creation? This is mostly for these notes that we're making. Let's talk about some of the things that go into avatar creation. Can you just people name some things out?
Bone rotation.
Flow script, blend shapes.
Blend shapes.
Bone rotation. Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, bone rotation.
Bone rotation. Okay.
And
I would like to see in the future where you can
names?
add HUDs, kind of like in Second Life, where you can have a HUD for an object to interact, or even just a simple color change. Stuff like that would be really cool.
Okay.
Like a full customization for your HUD for your avatar would be really cool.
Or whatever. Just everything about the process needs to be documented.
How
shaders are also a big mystery.
Oh yeah, shaders are
Can
very
we do
important.
shaders?
Well, before we talk about shaders, let me ask you guys about material entities. Has anybody used the material entities yet?
Oh yeah.
I've played with them. They're fun, but I'd love to get a seminar on the process how to implement them as scripts. That would be amazing.
Also, and wearables.
Wearables.
I think also, and this has nothing to do with the avatars, but I was thinking about they should do more events for like artistic events, like 3D modeling contests or something. Whoever gets the best wins like 10K,
have guest speakers. Kind of vet some people.
HFC or something.
So some guest speakers of that are known. Okay, not necessarily hi-fi people. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, somebody that knows how to do X, Y,
Okay.
Z in Blender, somebody that knows how to do the same thing in Maya, somebody that knows how to do the same, and give it a broad spectrum and not this is the only way you can do it because avatar creation. I mean, it's just as open ended as I'm sure scripting is. I mean, there's
Right.
10 different ways to do the same thing.
Is there any other like immediate avatar creation points that come up for anybody?
One of the definite issues that I've noticed, and it's not a direct issue that is immediately noticeable, but the fact that it requires a single community member to establish a plugin for Blender to make even getting stuff done in here even slightly more feasible, that is already a concern and a half. To put it in perspective, this avatar, and I believe a few other people who are from the earlier, I guess I'll call it the pre-Menethil age, meaning before he made the plugin, can already pretty much shout and scream about all the various things, like the scaling by 100 in Blender to resolve the collisions bug, making sure you included the copying of the textures into the actual FBX and all that. Those were varying things, like these little quirks that were required to get everything into here that just you only knew about if you were with the community. And right as it stands right now, if you I had my business partner, the person who actually entered the avatar contest, the Final Fantasy Fallout 4 combo, the Behemoth Deathclaw. It was so bad they had to contact 1,000, who I believe many of you know for making the Catbot avatar. I mean, perfectly normal human avatar, the robot and everything. Even he struggled during the last few moments figuring out why, despite following the documentation, despite using Menethil's plugin, why something wasn't fully working. And I had to step in as a coder to analyze more deeply what was going on. And eventually, luckily I figured out what was going on, but the fact that it took someone who doesn't even do 3D modeling to step in and look into what's going on, I think should be a very huge sign that there's probably so many problems, so many small quirks that we're not even able to identify and talk about right now.
Okay.
That's why we're hearing like, oh well, there's the texturing, there's the normal map issue, which that's another one, but I'll save that for a little bit later. I know you want to move on.
Yeah.
There's all these varying quirks that are currently being managed by a plugin, and my concern is that if something ever happened to that plugin, avatar creation is going to go down the tubes.
Yeah.
I just disagree with that on the software level because I've actually rigged things. I personally use Maya. I don't use Blender at all, so that doesn't really apply to me. But I've also had some good luck doing the same thing in Modo. So I mean, it's not necessarily a software specific thing. I go back to the documentation. I mean, honestly, when I first came to High Fidelity, late 2015 probably, Caitlin's video with the red Vive controller talking about how to apply PBR textures and the process there was the most helpful thing I think I saw the entire time.
Caitlin has great videos.
Yes.
Great.
She
Well,
makes
actually,
fabulous videos.
kind of like piggybacking off of that specific thing. As far as how to get this information, blog posts, videos, in person. Is there kind of something that works better for? And this can be just more like a general kind of like question here.
With a small demo video, which I understand is going to make it tricky because then depending on how reoccurring you want it to be, I think doing a blog post with a video, and if anything that those two cover is somehow not in docs, try to update that as well, which could probably also help out identifying where in the documentation things need to be edited and adjusted. I think will probably be the mastermind solution over time.
That's why I feel like, going back to what I said earlier about, when you do improve the documentation and come out with like, okay, here is the official High Fidelity stance on the avatar skeleton and its joint rotations, and here's more information about that. Then at the Moneymaker meeting, oh, we've got a new updated official description of the avatar skeleton. This is what you do. This is where the docks are, and we'll have a video about that soon. Some cohesive A to Z way of doing things, because I feel like there's just a lot of chaos, and
that's chaos right there.
Yeah, that's good chaos. But like blend shapes and information like that is just non-existent, and I mean, if you don't know where that is, it's almost impossible for somebody new to this. And I think there's a lot of people that come from other platforms like Second Life or Alt Space, that have access to a standardized avatar of some sort.
Let's take a generic step back from avatar specifically to more just like 3D, working with 3D models and textures. Is there specific topics you all would like to know in regards to just 3D models in general? Because avatars are kind of like an extension of that in some regards. So let's go a little bit further back.
Like basic classes about this is what a normal map is. Yeah, this is how a normal map works in high fidelity, and this is why we use it this way. This is what a randomness or specular map does. I mean, so, it would be great to have just
you want examples,
like a curriculum even
okay.
for people.
Yeah.
To say Oh, I'm sorry.
You have to try it.
Oh, I myself was thinking that we should even consider doing something on a schedule, like have high fidelity basics. That's something that's held every week where we talk about just entities and the client server architecture and basics of JavaScript.
Yeah.
I mean, initially these maker meetups were designed just to be sort of an opportunity for people to hang out and support each other and do show and tell. But maybe it's at the point now where we would benefit from having some regularly scheduled supplemental courses.
Yeah, we need to make stuff. We need to make a lot of stuff for this place and make this super interesting. And that's going to take, us knowing it all well.
As long as you have a server. That's right.
I totally support Chris' idea, and I just maybe do it the other way around, because as I perceived it, it takes like a long time to write a good documentation. So I'd love to see as soon as something super cool new is implemented to the new build, let's have like a hey, this is implemented now. This is how it works.
How do you want that information?
Than before. On this maker meeting here.
You want it at the maker meeting? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the new stuff that just happened last week. You want that done here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Done here or at some public event, but
no announcements in the forums
and
too,
have like the community channel recorded. So the ones of us who want to be quick with their development and with their fancy new, I put the newest stuff in my creations, they can look up, like, they can attend the live meeting, or they can look up like the maybe weird, not so well sorted, but up to date, super up to date live stream or archived live stream, and then please have a cool documentation on anything what's cool.
Now, if we made more of an effort during these Monday meetings, so for example, like update like what just happened or what we have new, would you guys share in that responsibility in disseminating that information as well? That's my question to everybody here.
You mean to other users?
Yeah,
or like
to other users. Where's our community? This is our community, right?
That's pretty much what everybody does. Yeah.
Right. Because not everybody can make it to these Mondays, but Okay, that's good to know. Let's go back onto the models. Just, is there any other general things that you would like to know about working with models in high fidelity? I think you already had some good stuff, but I'm just curious if there's anything else.
I do.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with construction, but like animation, what's supported, what's not, the keyframe timelines. What is the definitive list of what can I animate and how do I go about doing that?
Gotcha. Does everybody here know what a concept of a keyframe is?
Yeah, well, I do.
Okay, cool. I just like to kind of try to get like a general read sometimes when I ask questions like that. All right. if there's nothing else, kind of. By the way, if anybody thinks of anything, it doesn't have to be necessarily this topic that I'm, saying here. This is more just trying to get your brains thinking. But
about
there's
a problem with transparency. When you try and make hair transparent, it doesn't look right. It used to look right before, but for some reason, it just doesn't look right anymore.
Can you explain in what way it doesn't look right?
I'll have to show you an example. It's like you have to go through a process to get it looking right in Blender, but then when I do, it looks really messy. Here we go.
Is this something anybody else has encountered?
I have, but I solved it in a non-Blender way, so I'm not a good person to answer that particular question.
And you can't get the eyelashes to have transparency anymore. But this is like the best I could do.
Is that a fused avatar?
Yeah, it's from Fuse, yeah.
Yeah, I know how to fix it.
I do too.
Wait, I would change my avatar, but the tablet decided to take a dump on me.
I know mine doesn't work either. I've changed too.
I was gonna change to my Fuse avatar, and be like, I would join one with the Fuse party.
Yeah, there's a different type of Fuse is confusing in the way that it exports textures. When you export the textures with the model and bring that entire model into an editing application, there's all kinds of transparency things that are broken. If you export the model and the texture separately, you have a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, that's how I got this
things.
model in. That's how I did this.
And you can target that layer in Photoshop, find that, and then either separate it out for Blender, or in Maya you create a PBR texture that's called standard/transparent, and you can derive the transparency information from the color channel and the alpha mask of that texture.
I love how serious you are in that avatar, by the way.
This is what I did, and this is the best that I got. This is the best that I got.
I'm adding a light so you guys can see. It's so dark over there.
Unfortunately, you are sphere for me.
Oh.
So let me ask you guys actually on that part. Who here is Fuse and Mixamo people? Is that like what everybody uses? Is there more?
I actually have a YouTube channel that teaches you how to upload them.
Is that something you would like to know more information about, like using those two within High Fidelity?
I mean, I think that would be a great.
I think that Fuse is interesting, but it's not the best quality. But I'm really looking forward for Morph 3D coming out because that looks amazing.
What was that? Which
Morph 3D?
Okay.
It's supposed to be for High Fidelity and VR chat and Unity.
Their website hasn't changed in almost 2 years though, which is odd.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, they even now they have like 3 projects they're working on right now. They have one called Ready Player One, which is like the creating tool where you completely make your own avatar from scratch, even your clothing and everything. And then they have Morph Studio, which is interesting, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah, I need to try that. More 3D and Morph Studio, yeah.
The only thing that functions with an
they're not out yet. They've been
Ready Room
slacking.
You can use Ready Room to create something and export it.
Is an expert.
But you can't manipulate it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I got another question for everybody. We'll talk about scripting next, but aside from scripting, what would you guys like to know more about High Fidelity and its architecture? What would be most helpful?
Server management.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What parts of server management in particular?
All of it.
All of it.
Well,
okay.
That's a completely loaded area, and I will tell you right now, that's just as open-ended as saying, how many ways can I make a vertex in my favorite program?
I want to see.
Just give me some big pain points. That's what I think. Like, what are the things that
securing a server and stuff like that might help.
Securing.
For me, it's I started my domain with a DigitalOcean server, but I have like no clue, and I'd love for me you'd have to do like root work. I'd love to know a nice procedure for noobs to have a domain running on their computer.
Gotcha. How to get up and running.
In what folders, in what directories do I have to go? What kinds of applications do I need?
I
want to see.
Just make a quick video for Linux servers. That's everything.
Who here would like to or wants to throw an event like the events that we throw for High Fidelity? Like, is that like a?
Yeah, I think eventually I would like to host events here.
I want to see events
need to be a
something
little
to do with the painting room. We draw like
more
3D
implemented before I
for
would
VR
look into
users.
anything.
That'd be cool. Like the best Bob Ross painting or something 3D.
But like how to hold an event, dealing with the like event management, like you said, the server creation.
Hereby, I officially apply to be a freelance event producer in High Fidelity.
Did everybody hear that?
No. Got 20 years experience in film production on my back. I can work with teams even if I can't personally do like the coding and the whatever server structure, but I'm good at this and I know how to entertain people.
We can definitely take that one, a little bit more offline, because that'd be great to pick your mind on that. You're definitely a valuable member to the community. I think everybody here can agree.
I want to see a weather control system where you can have your own domain. That would be interesting.
A weather control system where you can have your own. Wait, sorry, I don't think I followed that.
On your own domain, like a weather control system.
Oh, like it's raining right now?
Yeah, like if it's raining right now or snowing, and it actually has an effect. If it snows, you can actually see it hit the objects if it have collision.
I mean, that sounds like an interesting, like long-term group project you can almost do. But okay, let's talk about some other things. Anything else about high fidelity architecture or like the entire system that needs more explanation? Lighting.
Oh yeah, lighting especially.
Okay, what's confusing about lighting?
Is it possible to request a quick recap? Because no one told us at Codex that the meeting was starting, so we only just got here.
Yeah, I will say this: the base meeting was not in GoTo for the first. Divya failed me. Did you tell me that there was a bed here?
They need to really fix the ambient occlusion on here. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Broken.
What's broken about it?
Something like if I turn my ambient occlusion on right now, I can look at like, let's say these walls and stuff, and they'll have like a weird shiny gloss effect or something. Which is
this what everybody else sees?
Yeah,
it's
like it
overbearing.
happens on walls and
strong.
everywhere. Yeah, like, but it does have like a really nice effect, but it just doesn't look right. It's got a lot of weird issues.
What else about our lighting system is would somebody like more clarification on?
I noticed in certain domains too, the lighting's a lot different in domains. Like if you go to that other place, what was that called? Hold on, let me see the name of that one. Not help. Was it? I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's just where we had the huge event with like 500 people.
The spot?
The spot.
Yeah,
the spot.
That place. When you have your ambient occlusion on there too, or not even that, just if I have my shadows turned on, and right now I'm looking at my shininess. Like here in this world, it looks good. It doesn't look too bad. But over there, like it has like this, like my jacket sparkles.
The way shiny works with the reflective is it's based off of the actual sky map of the area. So
this one's weird though, because it looks like my jacket sparkling or something.
Okay, so then that sounds like the shininess, metallic. How do these different maps affect each other? That's kind of, we can all group that into kind of, I guess, a larger thing.
Chaos's her thing she made, her little bracelets. If you go different worlds, it reflects with the sky map, so it has like that interesting effect.
Okay,
colors.
So let's kind of keep on going down this train of high fidelity architecture that you think needs to be explained.
What you said about the light, maybe this is an associative leap again, but I'm looking forward to like tooltips in the create menu, because I actually did some really beautiful lighting in high fidelity, so I think it's like capable of doing really cool stuff, but it was like 2 days of try and error. And if I could dream of something, it would be like having like the tooltips in Cura, that 3D printing software, like right mouse click, which is like, this is ambient light, this is the light which is always on.
Well, okay, question on that. Question on what you, and I really like kind of like what you're talking about. Like it took you 2 days to kind of figure out what to do, right? But that knowledge you just had, if I didn't ask you about it again, that's yours forever. You know, like nobody else's. You can see that, right? Why do you think more users aren't kind of putting out posts or blog posts about like what these problems are and what they learned and for other people? You know, I know because we all need examples, but do you feel like there's something that we can do to help support that more?
I feel like
What,
people
for
are saying
example,
things.
would be amazing if you on the super cool deaf pro builders high fidelity side, if you're building a domain like haunted or like zombies again, if you might be able to do like a walkthrough video like okay, look, we did the terrain here in Blender, and we did the spider we got from the Unity asset store, and then we fixed it like that, and you have to pay attention by high fidelity to do this and this, and this is how you here we implemented the script, that at least we like our new users can get a grasp of what is possible here and how is it called.
So if we
So
did
what
something
can I
like,
ask for?
if we turned on the lights and did a walkthrough with everybody here, like through the zombies domain, and explain like what we did, and made a video of it, would it be something you think
that would be
everybody would participate
that'd be
in?
amazing. That'd be so
Okay,
cool.
that's good.
Like
That's
in
good
the
to know.
making of.
Let's see, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I would like to see for materials. I would like to see for materials where you can make what is it called, emission, like glow. That would be really cool. So you can actually make objects glow if you're creating
do that
something.
already. You
can do that already.
Oh, you can now?
Do that,
Well,
but
there's
it's
emission
hit
and there's
miss.
glow. They're kind of two separate.
It's not real glow yet.
I mean,
like Sandstar's got their glow down. That's what I like about theirs.
Well,
but...
we have emissive materials, which will be full bright, and then we have bloom, which glows, but bloom is a per zone setting rather than a per entity.
Mad Max's emissive, right?
Yes.
So a quick question. I mean, like, I know you're planning to throw a little bit in the roof, but are you going to change the way these meetings happen, or? I mean, you were talking about that.
Please don't.
No. Well, like I said, right now, these are a huge fact-finding thing for us. So I'm like pulling out questions like, what can we, you know, what is there like longer term kind of, you know, if we do like a month-long kind of things focused on a specific topic, or if there's something else that we can do to, you know, push whatever we're doing here, because this is great. I mean, look, there's 23 people or so here that are coming, and all of you are very dedicated and contributing members. You know, it's like, how can we support this and get you exactly what you need? You know,
as a content
questions.
Creator, as a content creator, one of the things that can
Oh, wait, sorry. Who's talking? Who asked that last question?
Chris, I think.
Chris?
No, that's not Chris.
Okay, we'll go back.
I see magic balls in the room again.
Yeah.
I was talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know who was. Was that you?
The guy in the kilt.
Okay.
Marcus,
go ahead.
I don't see them because they're balls right now. They're all.
As a content creator, I'm sometimes hesitant to invest too much time in content creation when you know, we're standing on, you know, an ever shifting landscape. And I'm actually okay with the with you guys breaking and experimenting and all that kind of stuff. But what I need as a content creator is a roadmap, right? I need to know where you guys are going. I need to be able to anticipate the directions and design my stuff appropriately. I can't do that unless I know what's going to happen.
No, that is a very good point. I definitely hear you on that. You want to make sure the investment you're making is going to have a return.
Exactly.
And I got you. That's
I want to
very
see
valid.
a roadmap. Well, not roadmap, but a terrain tool would be cool.
Terrain is also That's on my
You
list.
had a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this kind of returns to the avatar thing, though it's not directly related to High Fidelity's architecture. The thing I kind of thought of when I this is the first avatar I tried porting over from VR chat, and the thing I kind of realized straight away once I'd done it, and I realized that this applies to most other VR chat creators as well, is most people don't have access to hosting. So the thing I went to look at was the IPFS, because I'd heard that talked about. But while that had been discussed, there wasn't really like I actually had to get somebody to give me an example of a tool, of a nice user-friendly tool that would do it. I'm wondering,
user Robin.
I'm wondering if there would ever actually be like official endorsement for the IPFS as a path forward for
Well, our IPFS support is currently something that was kind of experimental, and we did with Menthol as sort of an adjacent thing, and it really isn't part of the company plan yet. But the idea was to sort of get it into the workflow and experiment with it and see if that's something that we could more formally support. So we are on the side running our own IPFS server, like a gateway server for it, but it's not yet officially part of our pipeline, although I'm hoping that it will be at some point, but we can't promise it yet.
It definitely looks like it could solve a lot of problems that I think a lot of barriers that I've started noticing with the platform.
Yeah, I mean, it could also even serve people with non-avatar assets.
I want to see a new future. Like, I remember back in the days you guys were experimenting with voxels. I want to see something like that happen again, where like people be able to eventually not only make mountains and they can resize it, and let's say they can save their project or even sell it even. How cool would that be? Like selling your own voxel creations, like basically kind of like sculpting in a way,
It
but a little
glitched
different.
and then it came back like this. It was normal.
But and even have like terrain, or even have your own custom palette for your own textures for your terrain tool or whatever. Maybe even make caves or whatever. That'd be really cool.
Okay. Well, let's kind of keep moving along. One thing we haven't talked about, and I know a lot of people are interested in, is some of the scripting parts. So let's talk about like what are the things that are maybe need more clarification on that you'd like to know how to do better. Let's just start going in some of those immediately.
Like an object in the marketplace.
Marketplace, yeah.
What about marketplace?
Yeah, your script has to be like an entity script or something to get it to work. And that JSON is not the big problem, but how to get to work. You have to like a functional script or something. If you're not really a good scripter or very good at it, then it's difficult to get an object into the marketplace that can move or has some kind of behavior.
That's right. Do you feel like we need to be more clear on the requirements and examples of what a marketplace app looks like?
Yes.
Okay.
Or like a general template. I know you can find these kind of things if you search for them.
Caitlin, you I think you have a ton of good resources for that, right?
Just FYI, I made a template for marketplace apps. So
where's that available, Fluffy?
Awesome! Where do we get it?
I mean,
give you all my HFC.
It's basically using the same thing that I use for my marketplace apps. So, I mean, how hifi can like fork it and post it on the docs or something? I don't know, because it'll be useful for people because you don't have one. You don't have a template.
Yeah.
Well,
even when it was like, even when you guys were setting up this certified apps thing, there was never a template. There was only like designs of what apps should look like.
That, and there's just no explanation for like things that you were trying to enforce. I remember the day that Curtis came in from a rather long hiatus, only because of the fact that he got an email saying like his app had been declined. And he was following the documentation exactly and to the point. And he got an email saying, "Oh well, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that." It's like, where on earth? Almost as a direct quote, where the bleep was this in the documentation?
Okay. So more clarity on
JSON, templates.
Templates.
Like for noobs, like export your JSON there. Find these red-colored values.
All right, let's do it.
Change them
Can I
for
just
these in the template JSON.
MacLeod, can I throw something in about apps?
Go ahead. After that, though, I do want to hear back what are templates people would like to see. What are examples people would like to see? But go ahead, Piper.
Okay, so one of the issues with boilerplate and templates at the moment is that
some of the scripts that we load automatically are throwing out errors because they're looking at any event that comes in
The emote
over
app.
web event received,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah. We're gonna get that one fixed for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it might be an idea to tell people put some sort of an ID check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know.
my templates have that built in.
Yeah,
so
well, that's one of the things I've done is that the web event emits an ID for the app, and then
so I think
that.
we can group that into best practices for tablet
Yeah.
apps and apps in general. Best practices in general is probably a good thing to do, right?
It just avoids a lot of crosstalk.
Yeah. Gotcha. Let's throw out examples of things that would help you guys to have templates and things such like that.
I think it's
For example,
Mm-hmm.
for putting variables on the marketplace. I'm like a noob to scripting, but what I can do is like I can find matching values. I can get like whatever, a rotation value from my exported JSON and transfer it to a script. I want to know this one's working. You just have to tweak the variables.
Yeah.
And I know that Franny, for example, would like that too. So there are many like more people more on the graphics building side who don't dare to like, just code the JSON like that. Don't dare to write their own code, but who'd love to like see something. Oh, this is working. I just have to exchange the variables.
Okay, so wearables and how to get
Variables
something
and apps
together
would be nice
for
too.
marketplace for wearables, right? For the most part. Gotcha.
So
yeah.
Viper.
Also, I think there's an issue
what
with.
is a JSON which would be accepted at the marketplace, where people wouldn't have get this email, oh, you did this with the old attachment system, and please update
Gotcha.
it. We are looking forward to your next submission.
Yeah, on the JSON point. So, say I want to make an app that allows you to throw out a bunch of entities from the app, and the JSON that contains the descriptions of those entities can be updated by me on a regular basis. Well, that's going to be an external link, and the marketplace doesn't allow that.
Then, what would you? Well, I guess where does that hold you back specifically? Just kind of getting more data on that point.
Because the idea would be that you would have like a thing where even the way the app gets laid out comes from a JSON file, which puts the correct buttons in for those items, for instance. And the app loads the JSON file, configures itself, and then offers you the things that you want to throw out from the app, for instance. And if that's an external file, it's not going to get through to the marketplace.
Gotcha. So either more ways around like how do we handle that specific situation, or we need to look into making this a little bit more robust for externally sourced dependencies, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, maybe you have to say, this is not necessarily safe or whatever, put that warning in there or whatever. But at the moment, it seems a bit too restrictive.
Gotcha.
Not to mention, and I won't go into full detail.
Is this going to be an idea for a template, Fluffy? I think I want to stay focused on the idea that we're looking for what kind of templates do you guys want?
Well, one thing that would definitely help out template-wise and also development-wise, as well as probably a few other things. Can the JSONs be for both apps and for objects? Can the JSONs be configured to just access based on relative pathing? Because currently, as it stands, in order to set up the mystical JSONs, you have to first test your stuff, obviously, make sure it works. Then you take your stuff, you push it into the marketplace, Then you have to copy all the links from there, set it all back up. If you're a builder, you have to now replace all your buildings with the new URLs.
So we actually have something that's kind of addressing this. This is like a concept that we're throwing around called base URL that kind of deals with this relative path thing. There's still, I know it sounds like it's a pretty simplistic thing, but there's a couple other considerations when we're talking about the system. Actually, our audio guy Ken brought this to me really well. He said, look, when something like this, you can add in a million things. You can add in all the things in the world that you want to, but making these reliable at scale, that's something we still have to deal with. More important than almost any new feature that we have added. Is this reliable for as many people at scale? Go ahead.
I'm surprised that people aren't already using base URL. It just, it just seems the obvious thing to do.
Definitely understand. Let's talk about some more templates. What are more things that people would like to see that help them? Something that they don't know how to do, or would help them do something faster.
Also like avatar apps. Like if I wanna put some butterflies flying around my head, how
implementation
do I
of the flow script?
Get like a particle effect.
Gotcha.
Started with my avatar.
Scripting with your avatar. Okay.
Like adding, how do I put the flow script into my avatar's FST?
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
That sounds so.
Yes.
We can definitely. Yes. I definitely feel a lot of avatar questions and examples. That seems like it's a nice chunk.
I have something related to
we
that.
are the loudest.
Like for example, in the documentation, it says look in the high fidelity content folder or whatever. I can't off the top of my head remember where it is, like the resources folder.
Yeah.
You'll find the default avatar. That's not there anymore. I mean, if there was somebody that's new to this platform that didn't know where to find the skeleton, how to go about it, I mean, I think the number one thing for avatar creation is have a complete avatar for Maya, Blender, Fuse, whatever platforms people would use to put that in an official place and say, this is an official high fidelity skeleton. It's bound. Here's a list of blend shapes, something that people could pick apart and figure out because like the being of light used to be in there and you could pick that apart. Woody used to be in there. I can't, unless it's moved somewhere I don't know, the documentation doesn't match where the stuff actually is.
No, I definitely updated documentation and examples that make sense and are clear. No, that's definitely understood on that.
I feel like everybody else at the Lotus.
Who else? Does anybody else have anything they want to add?
Who hasn't spoken yet? Let's hear from somebody that hasn't spoken.
Yeah. What about entities? Entities in general. Is there any questions about entities and things you'd like to do?
Debugging the scripts.
Debugging scripts. Okay.
On entities, I think is difficult.
Material entities. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. We're entities in general, but how to use material entities.
Those in particular are completely undocumented. I can't find.
I have no idea what they are or how they work.
No, definitely hear you guys on that one. But by the way, the API documentation doesn't have everything listed in there, but there are the general things you can do with material entities are listed in the API, but they're not listed in like a clear description in the documentation. So that can definitely be on it because we want you guys to use material entities. I think it's a nice step for us between now and shader support.
Can Caitlin do a workshop on this?
I don't know, Caitlin, can you?
The current design
on materials. I have actually done a class on materials.
I know, but I'd love to do like version 2.0. So how do I implement playing with the material entities? Script into my avatar, changing color.
So getting an example of that would help you. If we had a documented example of what to do in the script and also outside of the script, that would be useful, right?
Yeah.
MacLeod?
Yes.
The current implementation of material entities is quite frankly bonkers, and I'm not even talking about the way you connect the materials. I'm talking about the fact that I might want 50 things with the same material. I have to change 50 material entities. Bonkers.
It definitely helps to do a little bit more. I mean, doing it all programmatically and dynamic, it's nothing. But yeah, doing individual ones, definitely a pain. And I think we are
Yeah,
kind of
but let's
exploring the.
start with
Go ahead.
diffuse colors. That's like photography Leica.
Yeah, it just seems like with very few changes, you could have it so that you could refer to the material entity as a property in the entity, and then each, like you might have 50 entities all referring to one material entity, and then you update that one material entity, and all those things get updated in one go.
You got something?
This actually brings up a rather drastic flaw that sort of segues into the marketplace, but it very heavily also follows back to the material issue, and that is, if you go into the marketplace, there is a basic set of as it's called, basic material set of 12 colors, and I remember them being rezzed out, and it was interesting because you could use them to parent to like varying objects. That's how you apply the materials. The problem is that because they were from the marketplace, those set of 12 are the only set of 12 you would actually ever get. And if you accidentally hit res again, the old ones disappear and then the materials go away. But the thing is that, let's say you wanted 3, let's say a person with no scripting knowledge, no massive editing knowledge, they just know how to parent things, which is not that difficult. It's just a keystroke. Just select 2 things in a keystroke away. If they want to bind, make 3 red chairs, not only would they, as settlers pyramids to the marketplace issue, they would have to have 3 materials that they would have to individually link, and that is also a problem, especially when you add in the fact of, if someone, say, made a bunch of marketplace materials, now suddenly those materials might as well be toilet paper because they can only ever res 1.
No, I definitely hear your point on that. As far as the architecture of the implementation of material entities, it is a V1, V2 kind of like situation that we have currently, and that is being worked on for sure. I mean, the main thing we want to be able to do is, this is how the best way you can use what we have currently now is. And I think getting you the examples of how to properly use material entities, and also creating scripts that help manage multiple material entities will definitely be like, it's a nice step until we fully implement like a more robust architecture. But again, these are all things and pieces that we have to allocate our time correctly to. So we can definitely do this as a as a stepping stone stopgap.
Okay, another.
We're just gone past our time a lot.
Yeah.
Just want to be mindful of our own time here.
Yeah, Ryan, is there anything that you want to kind of close off on, or feel like we haven't talked about?
No, I think we just want to synthesize all the information. For
Guys, talking about the docs is great and all, but the search doesn't work. I've been trying to say this for like 10 minutes, but everyone keeps talking. The search on the docs does not work, so there's no point in saying all these things about the docs. Stuff is on docs.
Search is not working?
Search doesn't work.
It's not. It's
terrible. You guys need to get that fixed. Okay, thank you.
No, Fluffy, I definitely hear you.
Man, you guys have 1 person for documentation. Seriously, 1 person.
Yeah.
We do things like this so we can figure out exactly what we need to do and get these teams built out for sure. These kind of things are invaluable to us making the kind of team that we need to have to be able to make sure our community all together is making the kind of things that we need to make. And you guys are doing awesome. You guys are all making really interesting things. And give yourselves a hand on just that, by the way. If you keep on making stuff.
Make this place like Halloween. That'd be
better than
put pumpkins everywhere.
Better than any badass tech university.
But I do think there's a couple more conversations we need to have for sure that relate to this. I feel like we didn't really get into kind of the nuts and bolts of some of the scripting things we need, but you guys gave tons of really, really good suggestions and advice to let us know, like, what we can possibly do. And again, that was invaluable feedback from all of you all. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you for asking for feedback.
Thanks, MacLeod.
That's cool.
Cool. Thank you guys.
That is exciting stuff. Yay!
We look forward to round 2 of entities next time. And then round 3. and 4.
What? What entities?
And parented groups of entities that actually have collisions on them rather than just the root one.
Okay, the grabbable thing is still not being cooperative on my end.
I wonder if I'm able to kick spheres around.
You mean like
on the
this?
hacky
There are
sack
many
script.
spheres now.
Wait,
many
what?
spheres.
Oh, really?
I'm
Yeah,
in
really,
a
I see
belly
it.
bath.
This
I'm in a
last
bath
3
of
releases.
balls.
I mean,
Actually, if I remember straight, that was another critical bug that 72.3 lovingly implemented.
Yeah, there were a lot of grave spheres. Also.
And you're standing there
spheres, it
in
was
like
like
the
chunks
thinker's
of
pose for like
everything around
ever.
you just-
Flame, if you can hear me.
I can hear. No, I can hear you. So let me guess. Is there a white sphere near me?
It was so bad.
I didn't have that.
Oh, be right back.
But if
Gotta-
I reloaded it,
Yeah, if I have a white sphere near me, then that
So like
would
right
be.
now, I'm moving again. Am I still in T-pose or am I?
No, you're not in
Caitlin?
but you're frozen.
Caitlin?
Yes, hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm
Can
well,
I-
thank you.
Could I run an experiment? With
Of course. Is that Sam?
Yeah.
Hi, Sam. Sure, hop on up. What's up?
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey, Sam.
Hello.
Hey,
This
how
is
you
our
doing?
graphics engineer, Sam
Bonsoir,
Gatto.
Sam.
Bonsoir les gars.
Sorry. Grab my.
I'm gonna try something just to break your simulation, but see if that makes that holds for me. Do you mind?
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3.
Oh please. Give me a break. Kick. Kick.
So many green balls.
Kick again.
Tell me if it's like awfully bad for you in terms of gameplay.
It actually, it's decent for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Testing out the physics.
Hey, I don't mind more things to kick. I'm totally okay with this. Round 2, buddy. Let's go.
Alright. So everybody's like able to keep having the client working with, and you see the balls moving around.
Oh yeah, it's real fluid for me.
Yeah, they're just.
I mean, they're a bit jerky, but it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
like that one
it's
is
a little
visual
bit
freaking
glitchy,
the heck
but
out.
I'm not getting any performance issues.
Do you see it recovering as things are like moving farther away also maybe?
No, things farther away freeze.
Yeah.
The physics don't complete.
Yeah, this thing.
That is that's the goal. Alright?
What do you mean that's the goal?
The goal is yeah. Oh yeah. There's a goal in life. It's called dropping cones on you. As many as we can.
So things that are physical that are not near you stop moving.
Yep.
Oh great. Guys, you can't do games in hi-fi anymore.
What?
Yeah.
Why do you say that, Piper?
Because you can't throw anything any distance anymore.
Yeah, that break a lot of things in my domain for sure.
Really? I was working on speedball too. Well, thanks for saving me the headache.
Thankfully, Sam and the team are going to make that an option on your server, right?
Never mind. Now it's back.
Let's put the green balls in the air.
Well, it performs
they're
well.
magic.
But,
Can I
So
play?
things go 30 meters and stop moving.
They actually dynamically adjust the region where you can simulate in order to keep you at a decent simulation rate.
So, will there be an assignment client dedicated to
Ouch.
just physics?
I don't understand how that works.
So what you do is you take the ping pong gun that's in the thing and you stop using it, and also the
No, you can
arrows
still
game.
use that. It's okay. It's gonna work. Don't worry.
Yeah,
The
but if
idea
I
is
up, we up the range to 150 meters, the thing's just going to stop working. Oh well.
Yeah. Was this another ninja edit then for 73? 72.3.
Oh boy.
2. Willy Wonka. I mean, don't mind me. I'm just
It looks so
Willy
weird
Wonka.
when you see all of them frozen at a distance now.
So
Looks
for
so
me,
weird.
right now, like with that amount of objects, it's slowing down. Yeah. Like this is like this.
It's getting.
Okay.
I'm not having problems. Oh, wait.
That bad though.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. What kind of a GPU do you have?
I got a
That's not
1080.
GPU linked. It's more like about the
CPU based because it's
CPU.
based physics.
CPU and bandwidth?
So I've got a 6-core.
In fact,
I mean, I
actually,
can move around fine.
let
I
me
can
find my
see other
keyboard.
avatars moving around.
Why do I see
see a
several
lot
that
of
are
these
stuck in the
outfits, like,
sky in the
stuck in the
distance?
air.
Because those ones are the one that nobody is simulating.
Can anyone reach that hammer that's above me?
I can.
So I can
Can anyone reach the hammer?
Because they're too far away. Because we're like, because how much do you spend on your game
I
rate?
got one right here
Nope,
that's just stuck in the air, right in front of me.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. I'm just looking around. The best way to describe it, it looks like after the gnome exploding a castle.
So as I pass near them, they should start animating.
Oh, that's not. No.
I like to have to increase the distance.
Yeah.
I rather have short. I rather have less objects and further away.
I'd rather have the ability just to tell the client or the server or whatever to keep ownership. Also, yay goal.
Yeah, I just found a very weird thing here. If I cam around with all those balls here, I fall through the floor.
You fall through the world?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll do it now, but I've noticed it a couple of other times here in Maker. But if I start camming around, well, I think it's only when the physics stuff is going on. Did you put them back for a second?
Sure.
Forgot my mic was on.
Because it happened more than once when you had them here, but it's not
Okay.
Oh, there's your hammer.
Okay, ready? Go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yay. Happiness.
Okay, well, very weird.
So you're saying you were going through under the ground when that triggered?
Well, yeah, and I'm camming around with the inspect script, and I saw myself slowly slip through the floor and then end up stuck in the wall.
No.
I don't know. It's only happened a couple of times, but it's not happening now.
Because the floor is one of those entities. I mean, the floor, because it's bigger than any of those individual ones, is probably going to be in the list of things we simulate no matter what. So there could be a bug there that you're pointing out where when we do that drop of many, we take a split, maybe a frame or two to understand that one as being part of the list. I don't know. Interesting.
I was also standing up here. Let me try it. Oops, that's different. I just fell off the edge. But I was standing here.
It's very easy to fix, Sam.
Stop throwing balls at you.
Yeah, well, anyway, it doesn't seem to be happening now. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
This is why I always regret everything I say here, because nothing's ever.
Oh yeah, we pay the expensive price for the server here in that domain, and that's the one that does everything for you.
Brian's got a lot of hands.
All right. Hey, thanks guys. I was listening on
Bye, Sam.
over there.
Hey, Sam.
Oh.
Look, I'm gonna run away.
Can we go back to having the maker meeting now, guys? An actual maker meeting.
Everybody's T-posed.
Well,
a proper maker meeting.
Thank you for coming. Do we have anyone here who's a maker who wants to say hi and introduce themselves, Christopher?
I
Would you like to?
I don't have much to say.
Well, you're welcome to hop up and introduce yourself if you like.
Okay, sure.
I'm sorry,
Hello.
I just doxed you with your first name. I didn't notice you.
It's okay, I'm a public entity. Hello. Hi. My name is Christopher. I also go by the Architect. I'm
We
gonna...
need to eject Malad here, by the way. Malad, you're eating up the scenery, buddy. Oh well. Come on up here in front, Architect.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be starting doing some art here in High Fidelity here soon, hopefully.
Yay!
If any of you have experience with VR chat, you might have seen some of my work there.
Oh yeah.
I do.
Awesome.
I do.
Yeah.
I do mostly psychedelic work. I have like 63 or 64 worlds. that I've done in VR chat, so I'm hoping to start expanding out into high fidelity here soon. Caitlin has been kind enough to spend the time to help me get acquainted here, so I'm hoping to be able to be just as crazy here as I am in VR chat.
I mean, the way I look at it is that yeah, like high fidelity has to be capable of supporting the crazy, wonderful things you build. So I'm going to be here to do my best to help you get that. And if we're falling short of some of the functionality, then we're gonna make sure that gets in the pipe as well, because your builds are incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. It's so good to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, hey, Chris.
You're welcome, man. Thank you. Cool. Anyone else here like to say hello or got something they'd like to show off?
Hello.
I mean,
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Not much to say. Sarah said I mostly play on VR chat. I just put my first item up on the marketplace, though. It's not much, but
oh, really?
It's just it's actually something I ported from another project I was working on. But I thought it would be
this
useful.
desk.
Yep, I thought it'd be useful for anyone. I'm gonna be doing the thing on the table for it next. But...
Nice.
Talk about the other project you're working on, Saracen.
Everyone wants me to do tech stuff because I am a programmer.
Well, it's the stuff you were talking about, so.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to improve the GLTF loader because I really don't like FBX as a format, and I think it's actually a cause of a lot of the problems people are having here on the platform.
Yeah.
I think if we could move everyone over to GLTF by improving the support for the spec for the things that are missing, I think people will just have a much easier time moving assets around.
Yeah. Now I understand that we are actually working on GLTF support ourselves here. Although I'm not fully aware of the current state of it.
You've got an importer that basically can import quite a lot of static objects, but it doesn't currently have enough for avatars, and that's kind of the point I want to get it going to. You should come talk to me, like if you want to actually get in contact with me, so so that we're basically not overlapping effort, then that might be a thing.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about what you're doing. Are you on the Discord, by the way?
Yeah, I'm on the unofficial Discord, but I haven't posted there.
Okay, cool. Let's chat. I'm just Caitlin in the unofficial Discord.
Well?
Oh yeah, okay. Although I can't see your avatar fully, so I'm just gonna stick out my hand, and you can just grab my hand there, and we'll do it.
That's another thing I just did a couple of days ago as well.
Been happening a lot is.
Where are you from, Saracen?
From the UK.
Nice.
Do you want me to quit and come back? Because that usually fixes the orb problem.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of avatar meshes that are in T poses here. I think duplicates. I don't know. I'm seeing some pretty wacky craziness here.
I mean, flipping out of the domain and coming back might help you as well. I'm not sure.
It was you.
Okay, cool.
Seems to be
What's weird
happening
is
a lot on Saturday as well.
It's what's weird about it is it'll be a white sphere if it's a bug, but if I come back in, it'll be a proper pink sphere.
Don't see me,
green
Chris.
Sphere, all that stuff. So
I resurrected an
specific
avatar from 2 years
condition
ago.
that white sphere happens as like a fallback.
Meaner, angrier.
That's what's so weird about it.
There is a tool that we have that will export your stuff from Unity. Oh, hey, I see up there, Maki. I see a sign that says, "Can I say something, please?" Did you have a question or something?
Very, very cool. Did you export that from Blender?
I can't see the textures though.
I am seeing some total weirdness.
Texture.
I'm gonna restart. I'll be right back.
There is a material of the robot. I don't know how to explain it. It shreds all day.
Yeah, you got no textures.
Just a mesh.
I see no. Oh, I thought it was me.
Mesh is beautiful.
Very nice, though.
Doing. I don't know
Yeah.
about
I mean, it's like
Mesh
super
is
good.
really cool. Can we connect?
Yeah, it looks great.
And it's shred.
I could see you going absolutely crazy with the flow bone stuff. Like I could imagine you making that the fish
Super.
on the back. Whoa!
So
What?
I can't believe
What
that
happened?
it's a good idea to turn all the physics simulations off.
What just
at a
happened?
distance.
I agree with that too. That kind of breaks some of what I like most about this place.
Whoa.
I love throwing things and playing with, you know, I mean,
The
that's
world just became
yeah.
completely dark, and it's just the
Hold on.
Yeah, that's what he was saying on stage a while ago when we were
Hold
dropping the
on.
cones and the balls.
It's a work in progress.
Saying
I
that,
was off. I was reloading.
yeah, the physics distance he's trying to put a clamp on, so it only goes to a certain distance.
Don't get me wrong, the shadows are fantastic.
That's weird.
But
Devil,
what is going? Okay,
What's
is
going on
someone
with the
just
light?
Wow.
I'm just trying to make it look pretty in here, guys.
Okay,
Dolls
this
is
is
so
insane.
dull, isn't it?
It's cool looking, but
Yeah,
I'm
but
like
some people are wearing HMDs,
yeah.
so can you just stop what you did?
Is that really affecting your HMD?
Not mine, but other people's.
Colours don't look all that good in
What color do you think would be cool?
Domain of all the little rings and everything.
Well, just put it back as it was.
Really? Are you sure? I can do
It's
that.
just a toy. But
Yeah, just put it back as it was.
I'm
Yeah.
just I'm trying to come up with a good way to make the place look
But you,
interesting.
yeah,
so
but
you
you've
can
just
showcase.
inflicted it on everyone who's here right now.
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Planetary domain.
I can undo it just like that.
And
Did
the
the
idea
physics
is
demo
like
bother
to,
you as well,
like, have
Piper?
the planet
Because this is a maker
do
meeting for
different
making
stuff,
stuff in
like
Excel.
one like normal gravity, the other one has
Tim,
like
I'm not having a conversation with you right now, thanks.
You're having a conversation with a fellow maker, and you're being
Not with you.
about it. You're being kind of snarky about it, Piper.
Oh, you know what, Tim? It's what I love about this ignore thing is that I can just ignore you.
I tried that too.
Well, hold on. It's
in the nucleus.
It's
that's where you rest.
If the light doesn't end up
But you
nicely
can't
the
teleport
first
that
time,
far
it's
now.
gonna show that.
Used to you could teleport that far, now you
nice
can't.
to anyone's screen.
It should be too.
5 meters
I'm
max.
trying to show you that I can do that.
That was
if
a
you,
blender,
if you want a
right?
different color, a different angle,
I
anything,
used
I can do that.
standard blender.
Look, we know how it works.
And
But
Like
no,
that.
no
We
one
know how it
never
works.
existed.
You know this John
Okay, so
person?
when you're exporting the
I think
FX,
you
What never
you're
existed?
on the
at the
same
bottom, there's
message thread
like,
as
you know,
me on a
application,
Facebook chat.
There's been
If you
never
set
a
it to
way
copy,
to
there's
adjust
a
lighting
button.
direction
gentleman
or
John
anything
met
in the
at
history of
the
actuality
Lotus.
properly.
I think
Yeah,
your name's
yeah.
on
The
there
fact
too.
that
Oh
I
my
just do
god,
that
I
at a
clicked
touch
on
of
you
a
to see
button
what you
should
look
be
like.
That is
Your
weird.
profile
Okay.
picture
Yeah,
is
I can't
funniest.
even say five.
Even funniest thing.
You didn't hear someone
Oh my
complain
god,
that you were
did you
blinding
Photoshop
me.
that? Or did you actually put that in
that's
your
why
mouth?
I was adjusting it because it defaults.
This is really
I have to
weird.
adjust it,
I see
obviously.
like nobody moving.
That is very
Yeah, no, that was a fake one. I printed them
That
out
was so
and
funny.
then
That
cut
made,
out.
I was like, that's one of the better Facebook profile pictures I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Cycle render
Yeah, the
every
hashtag
day.
is like better than acid.
Oh my god, it actually
Yes.
is. Most of the time.
Yeah. Because I remember that was I was
funny.
talking about the
Oh,
differences
thank you.
between
Befriend
FBX
me,
exporter
please,
and
please,
cycle
please.
I will.
befriend me.
are
Yeah, I
what
think we're
was
all
causing
gonna
the
hook up
issue.
Wednesday at
The
some point.
difference in material of this
Yeah, I'm not
without
sure, like,
mods.
because Wednesday is like my own show. I'm so
Oh yeah,
excited.
there you go. Yeah, and they moved it to
Right,
5
like,
my
yeah.
time.
So
I
so
think.
so I hope.
Why I
What?
called
What
for
I've
the
gathered
floor, it
is
does
the
have
absolute
to do with
Mine
the
a lot of
physics
Central
way I
Time,
was
so it's
coming
not my
around.
time.
I'm sorry. Which what was that?
Which Sam was that?
Oh, that was
So it's
Sam
like
Gatto,
3 p.m.
our
Pacific.
graphics engineer.
So where I'm, it's 5.
Okay, Sam G.
Midnight.
Because
Ah, wonderful.
so I'm like
I
2
think I
hours
know
ahead.
why I felt
Yeah, I'm
it
gonna try
before.
to.
I was
Yeah.
camming
Like
around.
the-
My
I'm actually
house
bring somebody with
balls
me
and
for a
cones
change.
and
I'm
like
actually bring
it
somebody.
moved when I got close to him. In other words, it's based on the
Oh
distance
yeah.
from the
Yeah, I'm looking
camera
forward
to
to that.
the
Yeah.
Oh.
avatar.
What he had to say.
Oh
And
yeah.
when I was going to different sides and
Project he's
trying
working
that a
with,
bunch,
is
that's when I
fascinating.
noticed off in the
John
distance I could
Paul.
see
I
the
was
fall,
just like
fall through because I think
glimpsing
it turned
over
off the
the
physics for
like
me.
for
Uh
the
huh.
summaries, but I was like,
Weird.
That's the only thing I could think of. But,
figure.
you know, I didn't
Wow,
figure
that's
that out.
all the stuff I'm into.
Anyway,
Me too.
Yeah.
see
It
him
was
again.
really inspiring at the Lotus.
Okay. Yeah, that was some pretty experimental stuff to just drop on us all of a sudden. In fact, I'm still not quite sure how they did that
I hope they can do that
because
too,
was that all server side?
on Friday.
Yeah, it
'cause
probably was.
You know.
Whoa,
I'm
wait a
like
second.
heavy
Physics
loaded till Wednesday.
Yeah, that was surprising to me. Oh, hey, by the way, I'm in Santa Cruz in a few days.
Now my
On the 11th, I'm going to be going to talk to the UC Santa Cruz VR users group.
Really? Okay, so they have such a thing.
Yeah. If you're interested in showing up,
Yeah,
you're,
where is it going to be on campus?
it's going to be on campus. Yeah. I think it's on the meetup page.
Okay.
But let's totally
Santa
do that
Cruz.
on
Let's
on
find
Friday,
out.
like, hook up for
Cruise
the
XR.
there.
So meetup.com/cruise Cruise XR.
Chris's
Here we go.
project?
So
let's see.
I just he emailed me. I emailed him back, and he
And that is at yeah, it's at the Hub Engagement Center on 312 Lincoln Street. So, oh, I actually thought it was going to be on campus. Yeah, culpa. It's actually going to be downtown. Near it'll be near Pizza My Heart, and oh my God, I haven't been there in so long. Pizza My Heart. Yeah.
So that's Lincoln Street.
Yeah, my
Lincoln Street between Center and Chestnut.
Okay, it's right
make sure that there's
Yeah.
which is guaranteed
Gonna
only
sneeze.
after 10 p.m.
Gonna sneeze.
And
Are you GMT +2?
I made it.
I'm like central.
Yeah. Oh, it's a few blocks up from Pacific.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm GMT.
Wow. God, I haven't seen Centers in forever.
So it's
That's
like
the 11th
Pacific
at 7 p.m.
I'm Central United States.
What, Pacific plus 9 hours.
Okay,
That's
so you're
my
7.
time,
So you're GMT.
Yeah, I'd like to go see. I never.
Depending on
I've
daylight
always
savings
wondered.
time.
So all the meetings start at 11
Yeah.
p.m.
Okay, I got you.
I live in
It's
a
like 4 my
vacuum
time.
here. Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, but for me this is
Sure.
good because this is like kids
So you're
are
back
asleep,
from
I
New York and
sleep
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
back from all of my
daytime
crazy pants travels. I've
and
been all
like
over the
my
place.
concentration.
But yeah, I'm back in the Redwoods after 22 days. My voyage. I know we're gonna need a whole nother round of funding after I'm done with all these trips.
Good for you.
I like
I'm
traveling.
that's why I'm so happy with
I
this
like having
specific
traveled
time
more than I
schedule.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
'Cause I'm such, like,
It's always more exciting in
tonight
hindsight.
owl.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
like
okay,
the
once
actual
sun
traveling
sets,
itself, a lot of
my
sitting in
energy
airplanes,
gets going.
airports.
Yeah, I do that too, though.
And wondering if you're
Yeah,
going
like
the
in the
right
mornings, and it goes down. And it goes
That's
back up. Yeah,
funny.
I kinda like
That's
two in the night.
actually. I've actually had that exact same thought
I know
just
it's
recently.
But I
like, well,
only managed
this will make good
to
stories, and I've
experience the
made
morning
some
hours, like-
incredible connections.
Like the first 2 days.
This is a great
in the
avatar, by
United
the way.
I made this a long time
Then
ago.
I'm like,
I love it.
wow, it's 6 in the
So
morning.
we don't start to see anybody
Super
names.
wow, we like
It's kind of like a anglerfish cat.
Go on a tour.
No, if you
But
like
this
Warhammer
is only like the
40,000,
first 2 or
if you
3
like
days
kids,
that you have like
that's the
one.
idea.
Oh, let's check
Uh-huh.
out that club.
I like it a lot.
Okay, all set.
I've never been out. I never had jet lag.
I want to, but I can't for now.
So, yeah, that would be
Maybe tomorrow.
Is it an original
the-
design?
The
I made it 5
going
years ago.
to the States is
Really?
much better than going back.
For
I'm sure.
just for use in a game or something, or for
Going
Second
back,
Life,
I'm
or
such a bad
for-
sleeper.
There was a
Such an
competition
insomniac.
for
Uh-huh.
a game
I had those
modulars, and I
days, yeah,
tried
I've gotten
that
around to taking a lot of
idea.
natural stuff.
Uh-huh.
And have gotten my rhythm good.
And then after
CBD
5
oil,
years, I
THC,
just
and various forms.
remember that and you start to
really
use
helped.
it in VR chat or high fidelity.
Cool.
Guys,
I want
can
that
get my VR
badge.
chat world into this.
Which
That badge with name.
Ask
It's-
Caitlin.
Every
We are
I mean, like
person
an avatar?
Yeah, I
Or
like
like-
the. It looks good with the ambient occlusion on as well. I like that.
Uploaded this.
Although I guess
Do
it's
we
just the
have any
nature of
different-
things.
Do you have them in
I see
Unity
it, but I
already?
think I just have it switched on, and there's
Sure, they are
a lot of.
I want to
So
make
if
a
you
lit
can-
material
if you
like
can
that
take your
guy.
assets from Unity,
Oh,
take
yeah.
those into
More
whatever modeling
cartoonish.
program you like.
Yeah, you can. Just
know,
make sure it has an
whether
emissive
it's
channel.
Blender,
Did I hear
whatever
my
you wanna
name?
use.
Yeah,
You
am
can,
I still
just
normal?
repackage the
Hi,
same
Saracen.
thing, just
Yeah, I see you
reapply
now.
the
Oh,
textures
yeah.
in a different way and
There we
upload
go.
it here. You can actually
Yeah,
even
I'll
export
I
stuff
want
directly
to
out
do a
of
bit more
Unity
with it, but
to
I'll
Fidelity. There's
definitely
a
get in
plugin for that
contact
too,
when
but
I've
it's
done this
kinda
next
wonky.
thing that I need to do.
But you can do that.
Cool. I like your avatar, by the way. Is that an MMD?
Avatar, it's hard to go
No, it's
from
actually a rip from a
VR chat to
PSVR
high fidelity,
game
but
that
it's
a
easier
friend
to
of
go
mine
from
told
high
me
fidelity
about.
to
But I
VR
did the
chat,
rig. I've
because
actually
the number of bones
optimized
in
it
the
all
avatar
myself,
is
and
way
my
looks
friend did
great.
the
in
other
VR chat.
character.
There's
Yeah, I
missing
think
spine bones, so you
this
have to
one actually
rebuild
works quite well
everything.
because it already has quite heavy ambient occlusion
Weight
baked
painted,
into
the whole
it. But I
thing.
am
It's
working
hard
on
to transfer
physical
something like
avatar
that.
as well.
Uh-huh.
This is just one I
You can do it though. I've done it back and forth.
I like it.
You know,
It
just
suits
to
you.
try it.
Cool, thank you.
I saw you
Because,
using it
I'm
the other
part of this,
day when I was
clubbing
giving a demo. And
community
you appeared
in
in this.
Russia. We
Oh
got
yeah, you were talking to this woman that was visiting. That I had on from New York.
Yes.
with his
Yes, she
round,
really enjoyed that. That was amazing.
hanging
That was
club,
her first time in
right?
virtual reality.
Was
She
that
was a
you?
little older, and I thought maybe she'll feel unwell or something. She completely took me by surprise
Yeah.
because she was
Can we
giggling and
connect?
dancing, and she
Are
was
we
in that thing for like
connected? Can we shake
45
hands?
minutes.
This
Like
is my
just
first time
having
here,
the time of her life. It was so nice.
Oh,
Very different environment.
I mean,
than VR
I
chat,
get that
but
kind of
way more
reaction
flexible.
from.
There's a lot
I
more
get
you
that kind of
can build
reaction
and do
from a
here.
lot of
I'm
people
familiar with
who
both
are
of
in for
them.
the first time.
And
It's really interesting.
I prefer this. It's fun
Yeah.
to hang
You
out
can bend your
and,
knees.
and watch.
Where are you from?
But it's,
Okay.
it's VR chats.
So I'll be right back.
Yeah.
A little chaotic and wacky sometimes.
Not for a long
wait,
time.
more chaotic and wacky than hi-fi?
Oh my god! Filth. The level of filth there is beyond anything I've ever
Oh,
seen.
okay,
in
you
life.
mean socially?
Oh my god! Some of the things that come out of these little girls' mouths, I'm like, oh my god! Where are your parents?
We should go on a field trip once. Take
I
our.
mean, just in the avatar testing areas,